In this video, I will build the most profitable farm from scratch in Farming Simulator 25. To get a good start, I have a few cacti planted and a trailer with a water tank. I plan to use it to fill the cactus greenhouse with water and start production. Unfortunately, there is nothing else I can do except wait. After a few months, I finally saved up enough money to build a second greenhouse and even had a little left over to expand the land. But that money ran out quickly. We wait a bit more, and the cacti are fully ready to support me for a very long time. To make things look a bit nicer, I built a fence and bought a large gate for $5,000. It doesn't look perfect, but it's not bad. Now I need to move on to the next step, save up another $10,000 and build a marmalade production facility. There are two options: unsweetened, which doesn't need sugar, just water and prickly pear. I'll start by making that one. After a while, we are ready to sell. I even bought a cart to load everything onto. One crate isn't that heavy, only 20 kilograms, but my character isn't a bodybuilder to strain himself that much. From selling all the marmalade, I made $13,000, a very good start. I immediately bought a second production facility so all the cacti could be processed properly. And to get some rest myself, I'd love to buy a big, luxurious house. However, I don't have that kind of money, so I'll settle for a tent. In the morning, I got really interested in making sugar. It's not an easy task, but sweet marmalade sounds much tastier than regular. I quickly decided that I needed to expand the land to make a small field. So much money goes into just land. I bought a manual plow, accepted that I'm basically a horse today, and started plowing the sand. When I finished, I bought a seeder and seeds. It can plant sugarcane, which I plan to turn into sugar. I'm not sure if the field will yield a lot of crops since it's very small, but you have to start somewhere. After waiting another half a season, I collected quite a lot of marmalade, but I also went $9,000 into the negative. Selling everything, I got $60,000. Time to start harvesting the sugarcane. I bought this machine and tried to do something, but couldn't understand why nothing was working. After a while, I realized it was the wrong month, and the crop wasn't ripe yet. I went back to sleep and then started harvesting. It's not very fast, but in a way, it's meditative. I bought a production facility for $36,000, which will process the entire harvest into sugar. 3,000 liters of sugarcane will give me just 1,500 liters of sugar. I think that's pretty good for a start. I immediately put sweet marmalade into production. After saving up a little money, I doubled the farm size. Now, I have 12 cacti. All the sugar has run out, and the field has started ripening again. I didn't even know it didn't need to be replowed. The account is already at minus $15,000. But that's fine. The harvest selling season is starting. Selling such large batches by hand is already tricky, but it should bring in a lot of money. I get about $85,000. I decided to harvest the sugarcane again and got even more than last time, 5,000 liters. I also had enough money to finish the fence around the cacti. Once I saved up a bit more, I decided to buy an oil pump jack. It will passively generate about $7,000 a month. With its help, I want to cover the negative balance that keeps growing every month. And let this be a small spoiler for what I plan to do in the next episode. In the meantime, I decided to buy a good truck so I wouldn't have to sell all the products by hand. I painted it brown, and this beauty cost me $45,000. Maybe it's not suited for heavier tasks, but for transporting marmalade, you couldn't ask for better. I managed to collect 24,000 liters of product. Incredible. I immediately sold it and completely covered the cost of the truck. Now it will become a part of this farm. Over time, I sold marmalade again, and now I have enough money to execute my next, hopefully profitable, business plan. I prepared the site and bought a pig pen. I've never really dealt with pigs, so it will be interesting to see how this turns out. For now, I'll feed them store-bought food, and in the future, maybe I'll come up with something else. To start, I bought 10 piglets, let them grow and develop. To make it easier to get around, I concreted the entire active area. Next season, I made even more money from sales. I invested in 100 new pigs, reaching the pen's maximum capacity, and bought them feed. I'm very curious to see how much food they need. At the same time, I decided to buy a starter tractor. Working the field manually is definitely no longer my level. It's the cheapest one available to me right now, but for now, even this will do. I got a small plow for it and started removing the sugarcane field. Sugarcane is great, of course, but I lack the equipment to expand harvesting. The machinery available in the shop costs $400,000, and with that kind of price, it's completely out of the question. With the remaining money, I expanded the available land, and I can already imagine how much money is needed to get at least a medium-sized field. The future of this farm should be very profitable. Next season, the cacti made me very happy. Just look at how much marmalade I gathered. Incredible, probably the biggest harvest yet, $240,000. Unbelievable money. To feed the pigs faster, I bought a whole trailer, but filling liquids or grain in this game takes so long. You can easily walk away and drink tea every single time. The pigs are fully grown now, but I fed them too late, so they're completely starving. There's no point in selling them like this. It's unfortunate, but at least they're alive. I waited for them to regain their strength, and now I can sell them for $1,400 each. Not bad at all. Since I have over 100 of them in the pen, that's a lot of money. I immediately bought new ones to replace them. And I decided to spend all the money saved over the entire year on expanding the land. In just a few minutes, half of it was gone, as if it never existed. In such rainy weather, instead of sitting at home watching TV, I got into the tractor and started plowing. The field still needs to be made. There's only one piece of good news. The plow can be rotated and adjusted to a convenient side. Everything else isn't as fun. The speed is low, the power is weak. At one point, I got so carried away that I plowed a line around the entire map, and I even drowned the tractor. Apparently, I held down the drive key and walked away, not noticing that the tractor was still driving. No need to worry about the vehicle. I recovered it without any problems, and it even started right up without repairs. So that's great. I finished the field and shaped it up a bit. Then I decided to buy a house. Well, not exactly just for myself. By the game's logic, it will bring me a few thousand a month. But I'll claim one room for myself and live there. I have a small rug where I will sleep, pretending I'm sleeping in a house. It's definitely not time to rest, though. I bought the cheapest cedar to not miss the planting season. I didn't pick this cedar by accident. It can fertilize the field at the same time. I decided to plant corn. If I remember correctly, I can feed it to the pigs. Seeding is slightly faster than plowing, of course, but it's still a long process. I need to think about buying a more powerful tractor. Let it grow now, and I hope this whole idea is actually worth the time spent. After another half a year, let's see how much corn we can harvest. I sold all the marmalade and bought the cheapest combine harvester with a suitable header for the job. I knew the field wasn't 100% fertilized, and I wasn't expecting a massive yield. But that it would be this bad. I really didn't expect that. It didn't even fill up the grain tank. Field work in the latest version of the game is so brutal and unfair. I sold the combine so it wouldn't sit in the garage for a whole year and decided to make the field even larger. Next time, I will fully prep and fertilize it to find out for sure if it's actually worth it. But one thing is clear, I won't be able to feed the pigs without buying food. I have an interesting greenhouse mod that requires manure and seeds. I'll try setting them up since I have manure left over from the pigs. The productivity of this greenhouse is simply massive. It's a pity you can't grow corn and other crops in it. But I guess I was daydreaming a bit too much. Now I just had to solve the manure issue. As it turned out, the greenhouse doesn't take liquid manure, which I have plenty of. Selling it isn't profitable at all, but it can be used as top-tier fertilizer. That means the field definitely needs to be made much bigger. After a while, I finally figured out where to get solid manure from. Turns out you need to build a separate manure heap and collect it from there. Incredible. But how was I supposed to guess such a hidden mechanic? Although the game did hint at it, I just didn't catch on right away. Silly farmer. I immediately grabbed some and delivered it to the greenhouses. I'm really curious to see how much monthly profit they'll generate. I was in such a rush that I got stuck. I'll need to widen this area so I can drive without the fear of ending up in the water. 1 month later, just look at the insane harvest I got. Is this even possible? Now, this is what I call a greenhouse for real gigachads. I made $40,000 from selling all the peppers. I really liked the result. It feels like I should place more, but I'm not looking for an easy way out. 2 will be enough. After that, an important question crossed my mind. How much money do I actually spend on buying pig feed? I waited a month specifically to check. With a full pen of 109 pigs, they eat about 5,500 liters of feed. That's around $6,000. At the same time, I make about $10,000 a month since the pigs increase in value by $100 each month. It turns out that, at best, I spend more than half of it on food. That's a bit disappointing and a bit too much. But we still have 2 great greenhouses, so overall everything is fine. Dear friends, thank you very much for watching the first episode of Island Survival. I'd appreciate your like and subscription to the channel. Take care, and see you in the next video.